it's also a very good activity. But there is a difference between fishing and tourism. I will tell you now.
One you can eat and the other one,
Are the
hopefully they
islands
won't.
tethered to the bottom, or are they
Yes.
free floating?
Because if not, tomorrow they can wake up in the Bolivian side of the
That
lake.
is good. They need their passports.
So, yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm going for that now. So in the lake, we used to have 25 kinds of native fish in this lake. Nowadays we have only 5. Because in the 1940s, the Peruvian government had the brilliant idea to import trout from Canada. And they introduced the trout in the lake. And then in the 1950s, the Bolivian government has imported kingfish from Argentina. So trout and kingfish, they are big fish.
Yes.
And they were eating the little ones we used to have in the lake. Believe it or not, that ones you were seeing, that is the full size of that fish.
Yeah.
So that is a kind of fish we have in the lake, in little ones. Okay? What they do with waste? It's basically the same like in the city. You know, in the city there is a big truck going through all the streets, picking up the garbage. The same is here, but in this case it's a boat. There is a boat coming from the city that is picking up all the rubbish from these islands and then taking it back to mainland. But of course in this place they don't produce much garbage. What is difficult is the toilet. For toilet, later I will tell. Because at first you have to know this. You have to know about the materials. You have to know about how they are building the floating island.
Yes.
As you can imagine, it wasn't like this since ever. Once in the past they used to live in mainland. And by the 1450s, the Inca civilization, they came to this side of Peru. Of course, trying to conquer all the other people and all the other civilizations living in this place. The south side of Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and also a little bit of Argentina. So when the Incas were coming, these people, the Puquina, that is the original name for these people, the Puquina people, they were like, what can we do? The Incas are coming, we have to run away. But where can we go? They were going to the south, there were many other civilizations in the Bolivian side of the lake. They were going to the north, the Incas were coming from the north. They were going to that side, and it was only the mountains, 5,000 meters above the sea level, so living there, too difficult. So what can we do? What can we do? They did this. A little boat, they put a house in the boat, maybe a kitchen, and they ran away inside the lake Titicaca, into the lake. This was the first way living in the lake. It wasn't floating islands like this. Of course, they ran away like this, just with the idea of going to any other side in the shores of the lake, trying to find any other empty place without people and trying to live over there. But they noticed that going there were Incas. Going here, there were Collas. Going there, another civilization. So they weren't able to find any other place. So what they did, they just stayed in these boats. Until one day, they arrived to this area. Did you notice what is happening here?
Yes, the reeds.
It's growing lots of reeds. Nowadays, this is the place that we call the natural reserve from the lake Titicaca. It's a national park, and we have more than 300 square kilometers of totora reeds growing in this area.
So
It's
what
a
did they build the boats out of that they...
Those as
Sorry,
well.
all right.
exactly
Yep.
the same, exactly the same material. So, when they arrived to this area, they said, okay, look, lots of totora, nothing special. We can build more boats, more houses. Everything was made like here with totora. But one day, they were lucky because they found this material. And what is this? This is the reeds
Yes.
root.
Roots.
And as you can imagine, as you can imagine, the totora is growing on this.
Yeah.
And this is under the water, right? Now, as I was telling you before, in the lake, we have only, in the lake, in Puno, in the south side of Peru, we have only 2 seasons. During all the year, we have only 2 seasons, rainy season and dry season. Between these 2 seasons, the level of the lake is going up and down. The difference is 2 meters. let's imagine a little bit. Let's imagine that we are in the end of the rainy season, and the lake is in the highest possible level. There are some places in that time where the lake is only 1 meter deep, only 1 meter. Dry season, what is happening?
Getting down and down.
Water is going down.
And getting
How
down
much?
to the root bed.
2 meters.
2
Yes.
meters.
2 meters.
As this was only 1 meter, now this is exposed.
Post. Yeah.
But they don't do anything. Maybe they are fishing, they are cutting totora, they are doing something in the lake, and they say, look, a couple of kilometers going that direction, there is a little bit of Kile. That's the name of this one, the local name, Kile. So, nothing special. 6, 7 months in the dry season, and this material becomes, as you can imagine, dry and
Hard.
light. Rainy season is coming again. What's happening with the water?
Coming up.
It's coming up. How much?
2
2
meters.
meters. As this is now dry and light, the water from the bottom is going to push this up, and this is going to
Float. Yeah.
They can find this material floating in pieces like this size, little ones.
Yeah.
They can find this floating in pieces of 5 meters, 10, 15, 20, 25 square meters. So 500 years ago, when they saw this floating in the lake, they thought, look, the ground we weren't able to find in mainland, now our gods are sending us this floating ground to the lake. It looks like ground. It's not real ground, but it looks like. So they said, don't you think that maybe we can join together many of these pieces of floating ground, and after that we'll be able to build our houses in that floating platform, and it's gonna be much easier and better than living in these little boats? Maybe it's possible. They were trying to do that, they actually did that, and this is the result. Floating islands. Did you get it? Did you get the history of the idea?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are gonna teach you how to build a floating island. And believe me, after that explanation, you'll be ready to build yours. Under this island, they have 10 pieces of fish. Remember, those pieces are much bigger than these little things. They can be 5, 10, 15 meters, but they have 10 pieces. When they have all those 10 pieces, they have to use wood sticks, holes in each piece. They put them like that, and then they tie all the pieces together using ropes.
That doesn't look like it is, but
No, they only used bottom 500 years ago.
Do you see this rope? Yeah, marala. Ayan. It's a nylon rope they are using nowadays. 30, 20, 50 years ago, they used to make ropes like this. This is a straw that they can get from mainland, or maybe the same reeds. As you can imagine, this kind of rope is not really a straw. Maybe they have to remake these ones once or twice a year. Nowadays, with the nylon ropes, they have 20, 25, 30, 35 years, and they don't have problems with the ropes. Nowadays, it's much easier and better for them. So, you can see we have all the pieces together now with the ropes. After that, they have to use this tool. We can call this technology. It's a long wood stick with a knife in the end, and this is what they use when you don't want to buy anything in the floating islands. This is what they use to cut the reeds, you can imagine. You see, let's imagine that this is growing in the lake. This is going under the water. They have to be careful with the legs. 1, 2, and 3. You see?